Hi, my name is John Okoro. Welcome to this AI for Scrum Masters session. We're going to get started here. We're going to try to keep it interactive and fun for you guys. Let's get started. Hopefully you can all see my screen well, and we'll just wait for a moment, make sure everything's there. So we'll do a quick 15-minute power session on how to leverage LLMs and support product ownership, Scrum events, backlog health as a Scrum Master, and Jira workflows where you can use it for your favorite ALM, Agile Lifecycle Management tool as well. So our learning objectives are to draft and define product backlogs, and we're going to be doing that using LLM. We're going to keep it interactive. So we'll do some little sessions and activities through each one. Facilitate Scrum events. We're going to look at improving backlog health and making investable criteria, and then integrating AI with Jira and running practical demos. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'll be using ChatGPT today, but you can use whatever your favorite LLM is. ChatGPT, of course, is a very popular one that everybody will have access to, and you can also use it for free. Agenda here, we will start with framing and principles. Then we'll go to product owner support as a Scrum Master and backlog creation. Then we'll go to facilitating our Scrum events, backlog management and prioritization. And then we'll look at AI and Jira integration, and we'll wrap up with some next steps. So framing and principles and guardrails, AI is a facilitator, an amplifier. Facilitation, amplifier, is not something that is going to take over. It should not take the place of human judgment. It's going to keep humans in the loop. It's very important. Let's have a human in the loop to make sure that everything makes sense to different things that are coming and being generated by our AI. As well, practice data hygiene, meaning that we want to make sure that we're avoiding any sensitive regulated information, prompts, etc., in our data that we're putting in the LLM. We want to address bias and accuracy. So we want to require the sources and assumptions to conduct peer reviews of the AI generated outputs and make sure that everything is within the parameters that we want. And start small and measure impact. So start with small experiments. Don't try to roll it out for every single thing that you have at once, but rather do small experiments. And then as those experiments succeed, we can add to it and build from there. A very agile way of working. Now, we want to support the product owner with backlog creation. So we're going to begin with a clear product vision and 2 or 3 detailed user personas, AI to generate the context for that. We'll generate initial backlog. We're going to enforce the quality criteria, giving us invest compliance stories and Gherkin BDD acceptance criteria. And we're going to validate collaboratively. And that is going to be something we want to make sure that we're working with the product owner, working with the team, pruning and merging and reprioritizing the AI generated items, and create stakeholder narratives. So we want to make sure that stakeholders understand basically a kind of roadmap, something good for stakeholder communication as well. So let's take a look at our first activity here. You guys can follow along. Just pull up your ChatGPT or whatever LLM you choose to use. You can use Claude, Anthropic, Perplexity, any of the ones, or maybe you have something that's used in your company, all right? A company-specific one. So we're going to copy this prompt here. And you guys can just copy the prompt as well in the materials that were sent and shared. So go ahead and grab that. Now I'm going to go ahead and share over to our LLM. So you should now be able to see my ChatGPT. Hopefully everybody can see that. Yeah, good. Okay, so now it says act as a product owner coach, product, mobile, bill pay, MVP, personas, busy professional, small business owner, generate 3 epics, 8 to 12 invest user stories with Gherkin acceptance criteria, and also output assumptions and risks on open questions for the product owner. So let's go ahead and run that prompt. Okay. So now it's going to create for us our epics. Here's epic 1 with stories in it. And we can see this Gherkin format given when then for the acceptance criteria, which can be put into automated testing tools as well. And you can see story number 2 as a small business owner, I want to save multiple billers under categories and suppliers so I can organize recurring expenses. Story 3 as a user, I want to verify biller accounts. Confirmation, give you guys some time to also go through and run the prompt yourselves. So as a busy professional, I want to make a one-time payment quickly so I don't miss due dates. And this is our second epic, which is making a payment. And story 5, a small business owner, I want to schedule recurring payments. And we can see it's gone down in a third epic on managing payments. And this also has stories within it as well. There are some assumptions here. Users already have an active managed mobile banking account with linked funding source. MVP scope excludes advanced fraud detection and notifications. And then we can see our risks here for security, regulatory and complexity creep, recurring category management. And then here's some open questions we can discuss with our product owner. Okay, so that's what we got there. Let's go back over to the slides. So I'm going to just pop back over to the slides here. Okay, so popping back over to the slides. Now we are going to continue. And now we're going to look at facilitating Scrum events using AI. So hopefully you can run those prompts. And if you need a second, go ahead and run those. And we'll go into the Scrum events using AI. So we do sprint planning, have AI help us to summarize critical points and inputs. Our daily Scrum can synthesize blocker patterns, pair programming suggestions. Our sprint review helps to generate stakeholder-friendly highlights and summarize feedback patterns. And our retrospective perform theme detection from team notes and propose smart experiments and track experiment outcomes across sprints to identify improvement trends. So we have a prompt here. We have team capacity of 20 story points. From the ready stories, which we just generated, we're going to propose a sprint slice to maximize the learning and value, including rationale, dependencies, and a bullet list of test ideas to keep output under 12 bullet points. Okay? So we're going to copy this. We're going to go right back over to our LLM. In my case, we're using ChatGPT, but you can use whichever one you prefer. And we're going to go ahead and drop that right in. So we already generated the stories and the epics. Now we're going to go ahead and have this give us a slice for our sprint. Okay. And this is, again, a suggestion. The team should agree with it. The product owner should be consulted. Everybody should be discussing it together. We have story 1, add the billers. Story 4, story 6, and story 7. It's going to give us rationale, maximizes our learning. Early value is going to be delivered. And we have dependencies in 1 and 6. So those ones have dependencies. Therefore, using these first, story 1 is a prerequisite for 4 to 7. Story 6 as trust and compliance. Okay. So we have those. We're going to test ideas. Add a valid biller, attempt to add a valid biller, make one-time payment, etc. So these are the things we're going to test. And this is a suggestion that our LM, ChatGPT, has given us for the proposed slice for the sprint. Now, you need to make sure to validate. Don't just take this and run with it, but work with the team. Everybody should agree. Also, the point estimates should really come from the team, be agreed to by the team as well. However, you can do that. You can run this yourselves now. And then we're going to go back over to our slides for the next one. Okay. So why this works, incorporates real capacity constraints for you. It's going to help us focus on both learning and value delivery and requesting actionable ideas, tests ideas, as well as setting appropriate boundaries on the response length. And so now we're going to do a retrospective here. And so here's some kind of raw and retro notes that we received. And we're going to ask the LLM to synthesize them into 3 themes and 2 smart experiments for the next sprint, right? So we expect it to give us theme identification from sparse notes, give us actionable experiments, and to measure success criteria for follow-up. So let's go pop back over to our LLM. I'm going to copy, it'll be 2 parts here. So let me go ahead and copy over first the raw notes. So I'm copying those over. You guys can't see that, but you'll see them in a moment. Okay. And now I'm going to pop back over, and we are also going to go ahead and grab the prompt here, which is basically telling us to synthesize these. So let's go over and take a look at our LLM. All right. Yeah, should be able to see the LLM. Everybody can see that. And now I'm going to go ahead and paste in. We already have the raw notes from the retro, and we're going to tell it, just go ahead and synthesize these, give us our experiments and 2 smart experiments for our next sprint. So let's go ahead and run that. I was thinking. Sometimes it might be a little slower if you have a lot of people on running at the same time. Just keep note of that. Okay. So top 3 themes: quality and knowledge sharing, pairing tricky defects and rise quality spread expertise, flow discipline, start work in the middle sprint and hurting, focus and predictability, and collaboration practices. So mobbing on infrastructure is effective and should be reinforced in complex shared components. So our smart experiments, 1 is pairing on complex defects. Specifically, at least 2 pairs of work will together in any defect estimated, more than 3 points. Okay, it's measurable, achievable. These are SMART, S-M-A-R-T, right? And then you have an owner, and we have success signal here, which is 80% of complex defects are resolved in less than 2 days, fewer reopen rates. And these success, it's always good to be quantifiable on these. Okay. Now, number 2, we have sprint entry gate, no mid-sprint starts. Introduce a sprint entry gate, no new stories, enter the sprint after planning unless critical, measurable, count the stories added mid-sprint, achievable, the team agrees exceptions require the product owner Scrum Master approval, and relevant, improves sprint focus and flow discipline. So again, we've got 2 experiments that have been created here. Let's go back over to our slides and we could prompt further. If we wanted to, we could ask the LLM to make adjustments to them and analyze different ways we might want to put them into our backlog as a Scrum Master. Okay, so AI for backlog management, we have story splitting patterns that we can use. AI can be leveraged to help us to split things like workflow steps, data variations, business rules, interface elements could be different ways that you can break it up based on what part of the interface is from, operations, CRUD, functionality, right? And then quality organization. So it can also be divided on automated, definition of ready, definition of done checks, as well as identification of missing acceptance criteria and duplicate overlap detection algorithms and consistent taxonomy and prioritization queues. Okay, so we can also prioritize using weighted shortest job first. And this is on the custom scaled Agile framework. So this comes with the draft cost of delay, and these elements are part of it: business value, time criticality, risk reduction, and generating score rationale. So these are going to be the user research and business context and technical dependencies, and AI can give us justifications for these. And then calculate and review the weighted shortest job first, which is going to be a numeric score. All right, so that's going to incorporate team provided effort estimates, weighted shortest job first, cost of delay, product owner reviews, adjustments, and capture constraints not visible to AI. So we'll get a weighted shortest job first, and then again, just make sure the humans in the loop and the team and the product owner in particular agree with the prioritization and the way these are scored. So now AI with Jira, and it could be any ALM that you're using, whatever tool that you use, lightweight interaction patterns. So templates and macros, create one-click prompt snippets, right? And issue descriptions to generate acceptance criteria, test case generators, and definition of ready checkers, acceptance criteria templates. We have our automation and webhook to AI. So this will help us to connect our Jira automation, summarize complex issues, suggest appropriate labels, and detect potential duplicates. And documentation and guardrails. Ensure the governance and visibility, store prompt templates, log AI-generated changes for review, and create clear attribution for AI contributions. Okay, so now we are going to do a prompt here for this, copy and paste. So you guys can do this in yours as well. Just copy it from the materials that you have, right? So given these user stories, post consistent labels, components, and a definition of ready checklist, output is a simple table. So let's go back over to our LLM, to ChatGPT, in the case that we have in our demo here. And you can use, of course, the one that you are preferring. Okay, so we have the prompt, we have put it in. All right, so now it is giving us some labels: persona, small business owner, setup, epic management priority, status. And these are all labels that can be used in Jira. And then we have our components, which are mobile UI, billers API, payments engine. These, again, can all be used in Jira. And with the stories, the story has clear invest criteria. So this is a definition of ready, acceptance criteria, dependencies, user story estimated. Make sure the teams are in agreement with the estimates, by the way. And it says less than 8 points, which is probably reasonable. UI, UX, mockup, test scenarios, etc. And it's asking me, do I also want to do a definition of done? So sure, yes, let's also do a definition of done. Just see how that looks. All right, so here's the definition of done. All right, we got code quality. The code is merged to maintain the branch. Peer review, no critical, high severity static analysis, and functionality. The story meets all acceptance criteria. Feature works across supported devices. We have testing for definition of done. All right, automated tests in place, integration, exploratory QA completed, security and compliance steps. We have documentation, user story, updates, delivery, demo and PO, feature availability, ready for staging environment, ready to deploy. And there we go. So let's go back over to our slides. Okay, you got a definition of ready, we got a definition of done. We have some labels, all the things we can use for Jira. Okay, and then we're going to create consistent taxonomy for filtering. Helps us to establish our clear quality standards, as well as reducing manual overhead for Scrum Masters, and improves discoverability of the related work. And hopefully you guys got a chance to run through and try that as well. Okay, so now measuring results, not hype. We want to look at things, these metrics that we evaluate AI adoption, your Scrum process, like a 25% less lead time, 85% better backlog health, because we can use AI to really help us to refine the backlog, 30% quality signals, escape defects, customer visibility, and much better there. And then 40% increase in flow efficiency, with balance and active versus waiting time. And the goal isn't to use more AI, it's to deliver more with less friction, measure what matters to your stakeholders and your team. So the anti-patterns to watch out for: over automation judgment. AI should support, not replace the product owner. And as you're supporting as a Scrum Master, right, decision-making authority and ownership should still be the product owner. Data security breaches: avoid prompting with sensitive data like PII, confidential business information. Unverified acceptance: never copy and paste AI without verification or considering testability. So do a sanity check and make sure, is this really the output we're looking for? Okay. And then scope creep: AI can bloat stories, have tons of good information in there, but slim it down so that it really makes sense for your team. Okay. So next steps: create a team starter kit as a Scrum Master. You can adopt 2 or 3 prompts. Use the ones we have here. Have AI, even you can ask AI to help you create prompts as well. And then document them in a shared location for consistent usage, a prompt library, we call it. Run a focused pilot. Apply your chosen prompts to one sprint with one specific improvement goal, and then measure the impact, right? And then make the integration decision based on the pilot results. Decide you're going to stick with the templates only, you're going to do light automation. How are you going to move it forward? And finally, schedule deep enablement. Book comprehensive training, 60, 90 minutes to build team capacity and confidence. So that is a short overview of utilizing AI for Scrum Masters and with Scrum teams, and lots of ways that we can do that. Again, my name is John Okoro. We'll look forward to seeing you in some of the full sessions, and hope you have a good day, rest of the day. Thanks so much.